All right, so today we're going deep on GameStop.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's been making waves recently, and we've got a ton of Reddit threads and news articles to dig through.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's buzzing about it, especially with that stock price climb closing at $27.33 on Thursday.
It's definitely catching attention, and not just from those who, usually follow the markets.
Right, you've got everyone from seasoned investors to people who haven't thought about GameStop since they were kids.
Exactly, and what's really fascinating is how global this whole thing is.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, this Diamantenhände German market is Openstech Reddit thread.
Yeah.
It just shows you people all over the world are like glued to their screens, tracking GameStop's every move, even celebrating those little pre-market gains happening over in Germany.
It really is a global
It's
phenomenon.
a global watch party for a stock.
You got that right. And speaking of Diamond Tenda,
Yeah.
it translates to diamond hands. That's a big meme in the GameStop community. It basically symbolizes this, unwavering commitment to holding onto shares no matter what the market throws at them.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like a symbol of resilience in the face of all the volatility.
That's it.
And speaking of communities, it's amazing to see all the different people in that thread saying hello and getting hyped up.
Oh, yeah. It's a real mix.
You've got folks chiming in from England,
Mm-hmm.
New Zealand, Canada, Poland, Australia, you name it.
Even Hawaii.
Even Hawaii. Like it's a global GameStop family reunion.
That's a good way to put it. And, while we're on the topic of this Diamantenhände thread,
Okay.
they also get into some pretty interesting financial concepts like short selling and max pain.
Oh, yeah. Those are definitely terms that can make your head spin if you're not familiar with how the market works.
Definitely.
Could you break those down for us a little?
Sure. So short selling, it's basically when someone borrows shares of a stock, sells them, and then hopes to buy them back later at a lower price.
Okay.
And they profit from that difference.
So it's kind of like betting against the stock.
Exactly. You're betting that the price is going to go down. But here's the catch. If the stock price goes up instead of down, well, those losses, they can be pretty massive.
So it's a high risk, high reward kind of game.
Yeah, you could say that. Then there's max pain, which is this theory that says options market makers might actually try to manipulate stock prices.
Manipulate them how?
So the idea is they try to make as many options contracts as possible expire worthless.
Expire worthless.
Yeah, basically when those contracts expire, they want them to be worthless because that maximizes their profit.
Okay.
But it causes a lot of, pain for the people who are holding those options.
That sounds like something that could definitely get the conspiracy theorists fired up.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And speaking of conspiracy theories, there's this Reddit post titled, Citadel is Lying. Again.
Oh, right, that one.
Yeah, it really caught my attention because it actually had to be corrected by the author.
Yeah, Mojo Master 5, the author, they initially claimed that Citadel was reporting inaccurate data, but then they had to issue a correction admitting that they had made a mistake in their calculations.
So it was a false alarm.
Pretty much. It just goes to show how important it is to be really careful about the information you come across online, especially when you're dealing with complex financial data.
Especially with something as volatile as GameStop, right?
Absolutely. Emotions can run high, and it's easy to get caught up in the hype, but taking a step back and verifying information is crucial.
Totally. All right, let's shift gears a bit to some positive news.
Sounds good.
This Thread Fund update. Susquehanna International Group, LLP, increases GameStop, GME holdings. This one has some pretty interesting developments.
Oh, yeah. This is definitely one that's gotten people talking. So Susquehanna International Group, they significantly increased their holdings in GameStop. And, that's fueled a whole lot of speculation.
So people trying to figure out what it means.
Exactly. Some people are wondering if Susquehanna sees some kind of long-term potential in GameStop. Like they believe in the company's future.
Mm-hmm.
While others are thinking maybe they're just hedging their bets.
Hedging their bets. How so?
Well, they could be protecting themselves against potential losses from short positions.
I see. So it's like they're playing both sides.
In a way, yeah. It's a move that's got everyone analyzing their past investment behavior, comparing it to other institutional investors trying to decode their strategy.
It's like a financial puzzle.
Exactly. And then you have some Reddit users taking it a step further.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're speculating that this could all be part of a fake squeeze orchestrated by institutions like Susquehanna.
A fake squeeze? What's that?
The idea is that they pump up the price intentionally to shake out the retail investors.
Get them to sell.
Exactly. And then once those retail investors are out, they let the price crash before the real MAS happens.
The real MAS.
The mother of all short squeezes.
Wow. That's a pretty bold theory.
It is, and while it's important to be aware of these kinds of speculations, we also have to be cautious about jumping to conclusions based solely on online chatter. The market is a complex beast influenced by a ton of factors, not just what people are saying on Reddit.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about global communities, we've talked about confusing financial terms, and we've even touched on conspiracy theories.
What else is there?
We can't forget about this gem. G-E-E-E-A-E, M-O-N, tinfoil. Read at your own risk. This post takes us deep down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories.
Oh, this one's a wild ride. It weaves this whole narrative involving some pretty big names, like BlackRock, Ryan Cohen, Michael Burry, even DFV. It suggests there's this attempted assassination plot and market manipulation, all driven by political agendas, and guess what?
What?
It's all tied back to GameStop.
It sounds like something out of a movie.
Right. It's definitely attention-grabbing.
Yeah.
But it's super important to approach this with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Okay.
Remember, this is just one person's interpretation of events,
Yeah.
and it's really crucial to separate those verified facts from pure speculation.
So we should take it with a grain of salt.
A whole bucket of salt. We have to be responsible with the information we consume and share, especially when you're talking about sensitive topics like assassination plots.
Yeah, that's definitely not something to take lightly.
Exactly. It's easy to get swept up in the intrigue, but critical thinking is absolutely key.
So while this MOS tinfoil thread might be entertaining, it's not exactly a reliable source of information.
Exactly. It's a good reminder that not everything you read online is true or accurate.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in the excitement and the drama. But we have to remember there are real people and real money involved.
Absolutely. And it's important to approach the market with a level head. Make informed decisions based on solid research and analysis, not just sensationalized stories or conspiracy theories.
So don't believe everything you read online.
Pretty much. Do your own research and think critically.
Words to live by. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from global watch parties to Max Payne theories, and even ventured into the realm of conspiracy theories.
It's been a journey.
But before we wrap up, I want to hear your thoughts on this Amos tinfoil thread. While we shouldn't take it as gospel, it does raise some interesting questions about the relationships between these key players.
That's true. It does highlight the possibility of hidden agendas and behind-the-scenes maneuvering that we might not be aware of.
So it's like a reminder to stay vigilant, question those assumptions, and look for those patterns and connections that might not be immediately obvious.
You got it. Those are valuable skills to have, not just in investing, but in life in general.
So with GameStop, it seems like we're constantly on the edge of our seats waiting for the next plot twist.
It certainly keeps things interesting, but with so much uncertainty and conflicting information swirling around, what advice would you give to someone trying to navigate this maze?
That's a great question.
What
I
do you-
think the key is to approach this and any investment decision with a critical and discerning mind. Don't get swept up in the hype or the fear.
I couldn't agree more. Do your own research, understand the fundamentals of both the company and the market, and be aware of the risks involved.
So it's about having that solid foundation of knowledge before diving in head first.
Precisely. It's about becoming a savvy investor, not just a follower.
And remember, it's okay to be skeptical, to question what you hear, and to seek out diverse perspectives.
In fact, I encourage it. Don't be afraid to challenge conventional wisdom. Dig a little deeper and form your own conclusions. That's how true financial literacy is developed.
It's like becoming a detective in the world of finance.
Exactly. And remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. Enjoy the process of learning and exploring. Who knows, you might even uncover something truly insightful.
Okay, so we've covered a lot today. Global diamond hand, Max Payne theories, institutional investors making moves, and even delved into the realm of conspiracy theories. What are some key takeaways our listeners should keep in mind as they navigate the world of GameStop?
Well, first things first, the GameStop situation. It's a roller coaster. There are so many factors at play, and it's impossible to predict what the next turn will be.
So many twists and turns. It's like trying to predict the weather.
Exactly. Instead of trying to predict the future, focus on understanding the present, staying informed, and being prepared to adjust your approach as needed.
And don't forget those passionate individuals who are driving this story.
Absolutely. The human element is key. It's about people, not just numbers.
It's a reminder that the market is a dynamic, living thing shaped by human behavior, and that's what makes it all the more fascinating.
Indeed. And that's what makes it so exciting to watch and participate in.
Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the captivating world of GameStop. Remember, dear listener, with all this information, what do you think is next for GameStop?
It really is a good point. It's so easy to get caught up in all the noise and forget that we
Yeah.
need to be grounded in facts and make sure we're thinking critically about the information we're consuming.
So how do we do that?
Yeah.
How do we navigate this sea of information, especially with something like GameStop, where things are changing so rapidly?
Well, it's about finding that sweet spot,
Yeah.
being informed but not letting the hype or the fear take over.
And not getting swept up in all the emotions.
Exactly. Do your own research, understand the fundamentals, and be realistic about the risks involved.
So not just blindly jumping on the bandwagon because everyone else is.
Definitely. Blindly following the crowd or chasing those hot stock tips, that rarely ends well.
Okay, so be informed, be realistic about the risks.
And remember, everyone has their own investment philosophy and risk tolerance,
Correct.
It's about making decisions that align with your own goals.
So it's like having your own personalized roadmap for navigating the market.
Exactly.
No.
You got it. And speaking of navigating, let's go back to that Diamanthenhanda thread for a second.
Okay.
It's not just about the stock price, is it?
No, it seems like a global community has formed around GameStop.
It really is fascinating. You have people from all walks of life, all corners of the world, bonded by this shared experience.
And they're not just in it for the potential profits, are they? It feels like there's a deeper belief in GameStop's potential.
Oh, absolutely. There's a real sense of camaraderie and a shared conviction that GameStop can turn things around.
They even have their own language, Diamond Hands.
Right. It's such a powerful image.
Yeah.
It speaks volumes about their resilience, their determination to hold on no matter what.
It's like they're weathering the storm together.
Exactly. And it kind of feels like a modern day David versus Goliath story,
Oh, yeah, totally. With retail investors banding together to take on Wall Street.
Exactly. It shows that the market isn't just for the wealthy, and well-connected individuals can make a difference when they unite.
Okay, so we've talked about the community, the risks, the theories. So what's next for GameStop? What does the future hold?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And honestly, it's tough to say with so many factors in play,
Yeah, the stock price, the institutional investors, the online community. It's a lot to keep track of.
Exactly. It's like trying to predict the weather. There are so many variables and things can change in an instant.
So maybe instead of trying to predict the future, we should focus on understanding the present and staying informed about those shifts as they happen.
That's a great point. Don't get caught up in trying to predict the unpredictable. Instead, focus on adapting to the ever-changing landscape.
And don't forget about the human element.
Oh, that's crucial. This isn't just about numbers on a screen. It's about people, investors, traders, company leaders, and that passionate global community that's shaping this story.
Right. We tend to forget that sometimes.
We do, but understanding the human element, those emotions, those motivations, that's key to understanding market dynamics.
It's what makes it so unpredictable and exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that the market isn't some cold, impersonal force. It's driven by human decisions and even human error.
And that's what makes it so fascinating to watch and participate in.
Absolutely. Okay, before we move on, let's revisit that MOS tinfoil thread for a moment.
Okay.
While we shouldn't take it as fact, it does bring up some interesting points about the relationships between those key players.
Yeah, like what's really going on behind the scenes?
Exactly. It's a reminder to stay vigilant, question assumptions, and look for those hidden patterns and connections.
So be a little bit of a detective.
Exactly. And that's a valuable skill, not just for investing, but for life in general.
So at GameStop, it feels like we're constantly on the edge of our seats, waiting to see what happens next.
It definitely keeps things interesting, that's for sure. But with so much uncertainty and conflicting information out there, what's your advice for someone trying to make sense of it all?
Yeah, it's like being a financial detective trying to piece together all the clues.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about the destination. It's about enjoying the journey, the process of learning and exploring.
I love that perspective.
You never know what you might discover along the way.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today, from those global Diamanthenhanda to Max Payne theories. We've seen institutional investors making moves, and we even dipped our toes into the world of conspiracy theories.
Even everywhere.
So before we wrap things up, what are some key takeaways for our listeners? What should they keep in mind as they try to make sense of the GameStop saga?
Well, I think the main thing is to remember that GameStop, it's a wild ride. It's impossible to predict what's going to happen next with so many factors at play.
So many twists and turns. It's like trying to predict the weather.
Exactly. Instead of trying to predict the future, focus on understanding the present, stay informed about what's happening right now and be prepared to adjust your approach as things change.
So be adaptable, be flexible.
Exactly. And don't forget about the human element, all those passionate individuals who are shaping this story.
Right. The investors, the traders, the company leaders, and of course that global community that's been so vocal.
They're all part of it. It's a reminder that the market isn't just about numbers, it's about people.
And it's their decisions, their actions that are driving all of this.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that the market is this living, breathing thing influenced by human behavior.
And that's what makes it so fascinating, isn't it?
It definitely keeps things interesting. Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the captivating world of GameStop.
It's been quite a journey.
It has, dear listener. We've explored the highs and lows, the theories, the communities, and the sheer unpredictability of it all. Now, with all this information, we want to leave you with one question. What do you think is next for GameStop?